transparency from the NDIS back to the individual participants about the NDIS's processes and decision making is going to be going forward. Because you say we as OTs need to basically sell ourselves and sell our services, but yet we're demonised in the media and by the NDIS for the amount of time and the costing to complete the paperwork that is the NDIS's requirement for us to get anything approved for our participants. So, and then half the time that is not approved anyway, which is then blamed on the occupational therapist. So I'm wondering what steps are being taken with these reforms to actually make it more transparent going forward when it's the NDIS's processes and the NDIS's decisions, not the occupational therapist, especially when, as you're saying, it's a buyer's market out there and you're saying we need to now compete to look cost effective when all people hear is that it's $196 an hour, and why would they want that for somebody to do paperwork?
It's a great question, and if we had another 10 minutes, we could get into some of the detail. Look, in its quickest, in terms of the sort of processes for looking at both access and evidence. So one of the key areas clearly that's been identified is what are our access, what is the eligibility criteria. It's very clear at the moment is there are no specific guidelines in regards to what does severe, permanent, while being episodic mean. We rely on professional judgments, and what's interesting at the moment is we weight evidence from a psychiatrist or a general practitioner higher than we rate evidence from an OT, psychologist or social worker. And that is that's one of the issues that clearly we want to do. I think just if I use that as an example, we need to be providing much greater clarity in relation to what is the eligibility criteria, what is the evidence we're looking for, because we're conscious that I think many people put an enormous amount of work into putting in their reports to have that rejected. And I think the critique, certainly from the review, is often by staff who often don't have the sort of experience to make that judgment. So that's just an example of a number of areas where I think the notion is we need to be much clearer, we need to be much more transparent in relation to that, and I think we're going to need to do that in consultation, in discussion with, rather than come out again with another new snappy procedure. Now, what I'm saying is the shift is saying we've done that in the past, we set our rules in splendid isolation. What I think that all professions are saying as we go forward, we want to work with you. So the message I get really strongly, and people get annoyed because they're saying, we're wanting to work with you together around our particular client or participant, but we need better ways to do that. So I think the commitment, certainly that our Minister talks about, which is we need to think about an orderly process of reform to deal with a series of issues with multiple stakeholders, is part of the challenge. Now, I appreciate the frustration you have, but just to say that's, we don't think there's a simple answer, but we're committed to trying to continue that process.